Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine. I hope you're all having fun. I hope FPL is fun, my friends. I hope you all had a great game week and I hope you all can hear me nice and crisp. I know the match is still going on, friends, but I thought it would be a good time to come online and discuss how the game week has been with all of you. Here you go. So we've got confirmation from Smelly Rabbit. He says it's coming through clearly. So it's 87 minutes, my friends. It's 1-3 to Chelsea, but we've got some unexpected goal scorers. Werner didn't score, Havertz didn't score, Pulisic didn't even play. So it has been kind of an underwhelming end to the game week. Werner did get an assist for the Jorginho penalty, but still it was underwhelming. But the player who was most underwhelming was Kai Havertz for me. Oh my god, I expected so much, but I wasn't to be in it. Shane says I'm watching both the match and the stream. Thank you so much, Shane. I appreciate you being here on the live stream. We're gonna talk about the entire game week, how you guys did, how the game week has gone for me as well. So that's all that this aftermath stream is going to be about, and I'm going to bring in these streams after every game weeks, depending upon how you enjoy it and how you guys think they are, and I'm going to try and get all these streams in. So fellas, how was your game week? Let's start. Let's have some good scores. Let's have some bad scores. Let's see how your game weeks went. So Jen says, should I stop hoping for Bruno and get Willian instead? I don't want to give away Son. Patrick says, I was going to triple captain Salah, but I didn't. Smelly Vapid has got 71. That's a fantastic score. Patrick says 65. Eden says, my brother Wizard, how are you doing? I'm fine, my friend. I'm fine. It was just kind of a strange game week in it, but I think we still came out of it. At least if you own Salah, fine. I mean, if you didn't captain him, that was different. But at least if you did own him, then the game week would have been fine. So hey Matea, welcome to the live stream. Hey Spells. He says, hello mate, can I see your game week 1 points? Definitely, my friend. That's what we're here for. I'm going to show you my game week 1 points and how I did. I'm just looking at this game. Oh, Timo Werner. I think Mason Mount could have scored. So yeah, what points did you get, Wizard? There you go. Alright, my friends. So you can have a look at my points, and then we can go from there. Excuse me. So there you go. I've got 59 points up until now, and if Kai Havertz is not getting any bonus points, then I guess that's where it's going to stay. In it, guys? Do you think Kai Havertz is going to get any bonus points? What do you feel about that? I'm just kidding. Kai Havertz was absolutely atrocious today. Chopin says, any thinking of bringing in Jimenez, Saiz, Reece James? Chelsea is terrible, absolutely terrible, guys. I mean, the way I thought Chelsea is going to play, I mean, they did play like that. They did start playing like that, but Brighton was really bright, you know, like that's kind of no pun intended, but Brighton played really well, right? Patrick says Saiz and possibly Hendrick and Wilson. Lambda is one to watch, says Liam. Shane says, I think Werner should have taken the penalty, and I'm kind of disappointed by Havertz's performance. Yeah, we're gonna break down that performance a little bit. I'm gonna talk about that. I mean, you know, sometimes what we see is different than what comes out in the stats and the positioning and stuff. But I'm going to discuss how I feel Havertz played and what's his potential kind of for the future game weeks. Alright, so now you've had a look at my points. I'm not sure if Werner is going to get any bonus point. Is he, guys? Did you manage to check? For me, I think I'm going to finish at around 59-60 points for the game week. I mean, it was not the best, but it was not the worst either. So I'm pretty happy with my first game week. You know, we were shooting in the dark in game week 1. We didn't know who's gonna play, who was gonna do what. So I still think that starting the game week is with 60 points. For me, it's pretty decent. Liam says I've got 75 points. That's a fantastic start. Congratulations. Patrick says not a bad score, Wizard. Thank you so much, Patrick. Spell says James, Jorginho, Trossard, bonus points. Oh my god, guys. I was this close to getting Reece James and Roman Saiz, and all these doubts that creep into our minds, especially after reading the news that Fernando Marcal can replace Vinagre or Saiz. And in the end, I just thought that, let's leave both of them. Let's not go for neither Saiz, neither Ruben Vinagre, just because there's a doubt that Fernando Marcal can replace either Saiz or Vinagre. So I said I don't want to go for any players who have a chance of getting rotated. So I didn't pick Saiz. And then again, it was the same with Reece James, I was this close to getting him. He was in my team one day before the start, but then they said maybe Aspilicueta is going to start at right back, maybe James is going to get rotated and this and that. When these doubts creep into your mind, I always just let the player go. So yeah, that was my thinking behind leaving Reece James out, but that was a bad decision, as you can see in the aftermath. Markeen says any transfer plans. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a bit, Mark. So Cloud1 says my last minute transfer was Reece James. I had not had any regrets since then. Well, that's cool, man. I'm so happy for you. Matthias says Everton was so good. Absolutely, guys. We're going to talk about Everton in a bit as well. I think they are a team which everybody had ignored, and I think they need a little bit of a looking at. They've been fantastic in that match against Spurs. Eden says, I'm thinking about using the wildcard. What do you think, Wizard? Spell says, Sames instead of James. I took a risk, went for Vinagre, and I end up with 69 points with Reed coming from the bench for Vinagre. That's a fantastic score still. Spell 69 points. So in this game week, I think it's pretty decent to start off the season. Chopin says, I've got Son. What should I do with him? Alright, guys. So let's just kind of break down the games a little bit, and then we can just go on and talk about individual players. So which game should we start with? I guess Arsenal game could be a decent place to start. I'm very interested in starting off with the Arsenal game. I'm not sure how clear you can see the scores and stuff, but I'm going to just try and get in a little bit. Mark says I've got 72 points. I have Vinagre problems, but I guess that's not a problem. So I guess the match finished, guys. What was the final score? Was it 1-3? Werner didn't get anything, right? Alright, so it's done. Let me just switch it off. Oppa's going to always play wide, Matea. So guys, let's have a look at this game a little bit. So Arsenal game, guys. I think Aubameyang was pretty highly owned, and almost I think 45% people captained Aubameyang, and he didn't disappoint. He did a little bit as compared to Salah, of course, but the surprise package in this game was Willian. We all know the potential that Willian has. He got 3 assists, two from open play and stuff, and 1 from the corner. But I was never sure with Willian. He was never even in one of my drafts. So I'm not going to be too upset about Willian getting 3 assists, and I'm not even sure I'm still going to get him in my team, because I am not sure if he's nailed on in the team or not, and I want to see him play against a big team. Against Fulham, it's fine. Willian getting 3 assists, anybody who had him, fantastic. For me, I'm still going to go with Aubameyang, and I see a lot of people bringing in this guy, Gabriel Magalis. I still don't think that he's a really good option. He's still new to the Premier League. He seemed a bit nervous at the start, but then he fit in well, he played well, made a few good passes, he scored a goal as well, kept a clean sheet, and I think so many managers brought him in, but they didn't possibly see Arsenal fixtures after game week 2. But for me, the only asset in Arsenal I'm going to be considering Kieran Tierney and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. With Willian, I need to wait and watch and see. This game, Crystal Palace versus Southampton, not the best game for FPL managers. So many managers had Kyle Walker-Peters and McCarthy, Adams, Danny Ings, and very, very few people had Crystal Palace assets. Some of you had Mitchell, right? But that was kind of more of a bench option. Whoever played him, all props to you. But I mean, this game was so frustrating. Southampton had a couple of good chances. Che Adams had a good chance. Danny Ings had a good chance right at the end. But Gaita was like really on it. And Zaha scored a couple of goals. One of them was called off for offside. But it was a decent game. But I was really worried about Southampton, especially for those who've got like 2-3 players of Southampton. I've got 2 players as well. So I'm worried about myself as well. So Joe Hale says, I'm back. Spelt says, still bringing Bamford beats. Jackson says, screaming wildcard. Well, so this was a game I was really interested in. Zaha looked really good for a 7 million midfielder, guys. I mean, we can keep an eye on him. Don't need to rush and bring him in or anything. He's never been a fantastic FPL asset, but Zaha is one to keep an eye on. Especially also Che Adams had a decent game, I felt. Although he didn't get a goal or anything like that, but he had a decent game. This was the crazy game of the weekends, my friends. Liverpool versus Leeds, 4-3. Crazy game. You know, like I was thinking before the game week, do I want Salah? Do I not want Salah? What to do with it, right? And I ended up going with Salah. I thought against a newly promoted team, even though it's Leeds and we've been hearing so many great things about Marcelo Bielsa, I thought why not just, we need to get Salah. Salah can score against any team, so I ended up getting him. But there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to captain Mo Salah. Like I had decided on Aubameyang and I was going to captain Aubameyang. And so I have no regrets about Salah scoring 20 points and some people captaining him and I didn't. For me, I still have these 20 points from Salah and I'm really happy with that. So we've got 32 people watching. I welcome you all to the live stream. I'm just going to go through the matches a little bit, guys. Since this is the aftermatch show, I have to go through the games a little bit and then I'm going to take your questions and answer. But before I answer your questions, my friends, do not hit that wildcard button or do not take any crazy hits or anything like that. Just wait, alright? We're gonna talk about it. Do not panic. No knee jerks, no panics. I'm here to talk to you. We're gonna discuss this stuff. Just let me go through these games a little bit. So guys, this was a kind of a crazy game, but at least we know what Leeds are all about, and we know that Liverpool are generally defensively very solid, but at this moment in time, ever since the Premier League restart, Liverpool haven't been that good defensively. I'm a little worried about Trent Alexander-Arnold as well, because he looked the least effective of the 3 defenders. Like Robertson was fantastic, Van Dijk got a goal, he could have got another goal as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold looked like doing absolutely next to nothing. So I'm a little worried about Trent, but of course that doesn't mean I'm going to sell him. A couple of Leeds assets that I'm interested in and I had a look on. This Harrison guy and Klish. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. But these 2 people are in my watch list, of course. But I'm not going to get them because I already have Luke Ayling ready for game week 2 against Fulham. I think Ayling was fantastic against Liverpool as well. Mane was a little bit abysmal, guys, but do not go crazy and start selling him or anything like that. I still think Mane is a wonderful potential, but I just preferred Salah over Mane. That was my choice. But if you have Mane, do not kind of pull the trigger so early on him. All right, let's move on. Guys. So this game, guys, it was a very it was very good for FPL managers, not just for this game and the players you own, but for the future as well. I saw so many value assets in this game. It was very interesting for me, especially Callum Wilson. I thought he was really good in this game. He could have scored 3 goals. He could have had a hat-trick. He was fantastic. He adapted so quickly. He is a Premier League player, so he's not really coming from the Championship, right? I mean, he was really good. I like the look of Callum Wilson in this team. And when Fraser is fit again and Andy Carroll is not playing anymore, I think he'll play even better with Alan St. Maxima, Almiron, and Fraser and all these guys around him. I think Wilson is a really fantastic asset. I know everybody calls him a troll and all that, but I've never had any problems with Wilson. He's a cheap and a decent fantasy asset. Another player I really am interested in from this game is Jamal Lewis, guys. I was interested in him even before the game week started, but I was not sure whether he was going to start because he signed right at the end. before the game week had to start, so I was unsure whether he was going to start or not. If I was sure, I would have brought him in, but Jamal Lascelles and out of Jamal Lascelles and Jamal Lewis, I'd prefer going for this guy. His left back, he plays in a very advanced role, so a couple of interesting options. Some of you might think of going with Hendrick. I'm not that interested in him. Alright, he scored a goal and got an assist. He was playing further forward and stuff. But let's focus on the assets which have real value and real potential, guys. He's not going to get an assist and score a goal every week. So Sean says, show me your team. Just give me 5 minutes, Sean. Just going to go through these games for everybody who's listening, and then I'm going to show you my team. By the way, I got 59 points, just in case if you wanted to see that. So West Brom versus Leicester. This was a very frustrating game, guys. I mean, there was lots of people fuming over this game on Twitter, especially after Vardy did nothing for the entire game. Did you know how much was his non-penalty expected goal? It was 0, guys. No touches in the box, nothing doing at all, and snap, he gets 2 penalties, bang, 13 points. That's Jamie Vardy for you. That's the frustration of not owning Jamie Vardy. He does nothing, absolutely, and then he still gets 2 penalties and 3 bonus points and everything to go with it. But it was a very strange game. West Brom were good for a little bit. I think 30 to 35 minutes they competed. They were like competing with Leicester in midfield. Pereira looked good. Diangana looked decent, and Robertson playing up front. So there were some positives in this game for West Brom. But once Leicester scored the goal, they looked absolutely flat. All the new teams, except Leeds, like Fulham, West Brom, looked really, they're going to struggle. I mean, their keeper doesn't know how to save a penalty as well, guys. And this guy, many of you had James Justin. Congratulations for all of you who went with him. I didn't go with him because I didn't want to when Ricardo Pereira comes back, I didn't want to, take him out of the team and waste a transfer on my defense. But all of you who went with him, congratulations. He had a good game, and he's playing on left back, which puts me off a little bit more of him. If he was playing on right back, that I would have been interested. But this Caston guy, he's playing on the right and he scored a goal. He's the one to keep an eye on, my friends, more than James Justin. So yeah, there's a couple of interesting assets. Johnston, this keeper doesn't know how to save a penalty, my friends. If he did, he would have been a hero. Alright, Spurs and Everton. This is a game I think which many of you might be interested in. It was a fantastic game tactically to look at, and had Everton and especially Richarlison been more clinical, I think Everton could have scored a lot more goals than they actually did. Spurs had, I think, how many clear-cut opportunities did Spurs have? 1, maybe 2. The one with Doherty was pretty good. Pickford made a really, really good save on that one. But other than that, I just don't remember. Dele Alli had one, maybe, shot when Son should have passed on to Kane and he passed to Dele Alli and stuff, and then Ali got subbed off at halftime. I don't know. Mourinho said it was tactical and stuff. If anybody owns him, we're gonna discuss that as well. I know some of you got Dele Alli as well. So, but guys, let's not discuss Spurs assets for now. Let's focus on the Everton assets. Many people ignored them because Everton was in nobody's thoughts until they signed these amazing midfielders, right at the end of the not the end of the transfer window, but right before the season began. They got Allen, they got James Rodriguez, they got Doucouré, and my word, guys, did they look like they've been here since ages. I mean, the way they played, it was fantastic. Allen controlled the midfield, sat in front of the defense, no problems. They controlled the midfield. Doucouré box to box, fantastic. James Rodriguez, 5 chances created from open play. He was absolutely sensational, guys. Had Richarlison been on his game, he could have had like 2 or 3 goals easily, right? Dominic Calvert-Lewin was not too involved in the game as compared to Richarlison, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin got the all-important goal, guys, and he was in my team, so I'm really happy for that. But I didn't even get him for this game. I got him for game week 2, 3, and 4, but he got me a decent return, 8 points. I'm so happy with him. But the players that we want to look at from Everton are the defense. Luka Dean, guys. This is the player that we should be looking at. Even Seamus Coleman was good, but since the only thing he can do is defend, and he doesn't take any set pieces and stuff, if we can, we should look at Luka Dean. Definitely, I'm very interested in him. Second last game, Sheffield versus Wolves. I had Ramsdale. I mean, Wolves started so quickly. They scored 3 minutes, 6 minutes, and then they just shut off shop. And Sheffield couldn't do much to trouble them at all. I'm kind of a little bit of disappointed with Sheffield, but they were fine. Like after the early flurry with Wolves, and then they just sat back and wanted to hit on the counter and stuff. But the player that as I already said, I wanted to own was Saiz. But there were too many rumors that Fernando Marcal was going to replace either Saiz or Ruben Vinagre. And again, I didn't want to have a player who got rotated and stuff, so I didn't go for Saiz, and you know what happened. He ended up getting 15 points. So, all these 50-50 decisions, sometimes they go for you in FPL, sometimes they don't go for you, guys. Don't be too hard on you, when they don't. And be happy, of course, when they do. So, yeah. So, Podence is another one I had my eye on, but I'm not sure if he's going to start every game because Diogo Jota is going to come in sooner or later. So need to watch that a little bit. If he starts every game, 5.5, Podence a good option. Ramsdale couldn't even get me one save point. So disappointing. All right, guys. So not to gabby in it. We're at the last game really quickly. So Brighton versus Chelsea. What can we say about this game, guys? Brighton played really well at the start, and then kind of Timo Werner made this run and got a penalty, and Jorginho tucked it away. Even after that, Brighton scored the goal, and then a couple of freak goals, you can call them. Amazing goal by James. But it was really, really difficult. If you think James is going to score these kinds of goals every week, and similarly, how many of you actually thought that James is going to take the corner, guys? I mean, it's so crazy. Reece James taking a corner and Zuma scoring with that freak shot. Like that wasn't even a good contact and stuff. But Zuma scored and Reece James got another assist. So props to the owners, kudos to the owners, and those who excuse me, those who had the balls to go with the Reece James. I just again got confused with all this rotation stuff. Azpilicueta playing at right back and Reece James not starting every week and this and that, so I just decided not to go with him. But if he starts every game week, my friends, keep your eye on him. 5 million Reece James in the Chelsea defense with good fixtures coming up. Not a bad asset at all, especially if you're a wildcard and stuff. Could be a good option, my friends. So that kind of wraps it up. Just let me know, guys. Did Kai Havertz get any bonus points? I want to have a look. Where is? Oh, come on, guys. Kai Havertz didn't get any bonus points. He's not even in the bonus point system. So disappointing, in it? I'm just joking, guys. All right. So Timo Werner looked fine, guys. He's fast. He's quick. He had a couple of chances. All right, but I think Kai Havertz looked a little underwhelming for me. So that wraps up kind of my analysis. The players to look from Brighton: Tariq Lamptey, Leandro Trossard looked really good, and Bissouma, of course, 2-pointer, always going to play at least. So that's all. In Chelsea, I think not many assets that looked really attractive to me at this moment in time. But yeah, Timo Werner, I think we can keep. He was really encouraging for me. Even Kai Havertz at the start was good, but he was going into centre forward positions at the start of the game. Timo Werner was drifting onto the left, and Kai Havertz was making these fantastic runs into the box. But Brighton just controlled the midfield so much. They didn't give Chelsea a chance to play the possession game, and that's the reason Chelsea were playing on the counter attack, and that's not kind of a system in which Kai Havertz really thrives at the right wing. He was playing at the right, so he was trying to make tackles and stuff, guys. So yeah, that's all about the wrap up about all the matches. If you have any questions, we can go to it now. So yeah. Alright, so let me read your comments. I'm sorry I've just been, rambling about all these games. I haven't been reading your comments, so let me just have a sip of water and then we can read your comments. Alrighty, guys. So, Jackson says, what are your Game Week 2 plans? Well, at this moment in time, I just, I'm really, I was thinking I had to watch the Chelsea game and see how they performed, and I'm not really encouraged with that performance, but for now, if you see, my team looks fine for Game Week 2. Let me show you my team for Game Week 2. I mean, I planned ahead, guys. When I was planning this team, I put Luke Ayling in my team. I put Dominic Calvert-Lewin in my team, especially planning for Game Week 2. So this is kind of helps you with the forward planning a little bit, right? So I've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Brighton, Luke Ayling against Fulham. I think Leeds can keep a clean sheet in this game easy. Excuse me. So yeah, guys, this is how my team currently looks for Game Week 2. Not too shabby in it. I think... Of course, the glaring thing which is missing from this team, which you all must be thinking, is I don't have any Manchester United players for this game week. I'm not even sure if I want them. I just possibly want to see them for one game week, and then then I can decide then what to do. But I'm going to think about it for now. Let me tell you what's going in my mind right now. Right, I'm thinking about rolling my transfer, going to game week 3. Making 3 transfers, possibly taking a hit, and making my team really strong based on the data I have from the teams that did not play. Like, for example, Manchester United, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Burnley, and then kind of strengthening my team. So that's going on in my mind basically for at this moment in time. Not saying that that's going to be the final decision. I'm just telling you, after watching all these games, this is my raw reaction at this moment in time. Joe Hale says, what do you think I should go for, Bruno for Salah or Justin for Vinagre? I mean, Joe, you could, I'm not sure if you, after this great performance by Salah, he looked really sharp as well. You want to just, transfer him out straight away. I mean, if you do that, that would be a ballsy move. I mean, that was my plan as well, but I don't think I can just straight away go through with it because Salah performed really well. He was looking really sharp. 26 touches in the opposition penalty box. Guys, that's like really amazing numbers right there. So, if you want Joe, you can go with it. For me, not yet. So, hey Buckshot, welcome to the live stream. He says, I made a mistake by putting in Mane instead of Salah. Guys, I mean, a lot of people put Mane instead of Salah. It's not a mistake. It was a punt based on the preseason data. Mane looked more sharp and he was more prepared in scoring the goals and stuff. Salah looked so lethargic in preseason. I just went with him because I just trust the player more, especially, the main reason I go with him is he's on penalties. That's the reason I always go with Salah. Nia says, are you keeping Havertz? I mean, it's a very difficult one, guys. If I had 2 million in the bank, I would possibly go Havertz to Bruno Fernandes. Unfortunately, the way I set up my team, I don't have any money in the bank, so I just I can't go straight from Havertz to Manchester United player. I don't want to go for Greenwood because there's so much noise in the market about Jadon Sancho coming to United, and if he does, Greenwood's position is going to be in real danger. And after that naughty stuff Greenwood's been doing, I'm not even sure if he's going to get some game time or not. Maybe Ollie is going to be angry about him. He's been having that hippie crack and stuff, guys. So yeah, basically for now I think I have to keep Havertz, because I don't see any great options that I can get in place of Havertz with just one transfer. So possibly I'm going to roll my transfer, go to game week 3, take one hit, make 3 transfers, and make my team the best. That's my opinion. Belt says Barnes looked great at 7 million. I'm thinking about him. If you have a wild card, my friend, I think Harvey Barnes is a decent option. He played really well, although he should have passed at a couple of occasions when he did shoot. But I think he had a decent game. I would go for him if you're on a wild card. Dylan says, should I swap Havertz for James? James means James Rodriguez, of course, right? I mean, if you want, my friend, if you wanna go for James Rodriguez, I mean, at this moment in time, I think there are better Everton assets than James Rodriguez at 7.5 million. I mean, he's a fantastic player. He created lots of chances. Don't get me wrong. Do you think he's going to have a 15-point game week? I find it a little bit difficult to think about that. I mean, right, 7 points, 10 points, 8 points, he can have that. But Richarlison and Dini looked real gold for me at this moment in time. So yeah, Success says, I was about to sleep. My friend, it's 3 a.m. here in India and I'm live streaming, guys. That's how you have to be when you have an FPL channel. I decided that I'm going to do live streams after all the games are over. I never thought that after the first game week was going to be over at 3 a.m. in India, guys. So right now it's 3 a.m. I'm sitting at my computer and talking to you guys. I hope I don't sound sleepy. Patrick says Havertz versus Rodriguez. Patrick, it's very hard to say after one game. Of course, if you look at one game week, this performance, Havertz looked absolutely shoddy and Rodriguez looked fantastic. But we cannot judge on one game, we need to wait and see. But yeah, if you have him in your team, Havertz, and you have some money, you can possibly swap him for somebody like Bruno Fernandes, who's already, in the Premier League proven and stuff. If you want to go for Rodriguez, I would wait, a little bit. Patrick says he'll be on penalties. Who's going to be on penalties? Hummus? Possibly. I'm not sure. Guys, who's on penalties for Everton? If there's some Everton fans among us, can you tell me who's on penalties for Everton? FPL Fred says, what are your thoughts on Podence? As I said, FPL Fred, I was very interested in Podence even before the start of the game week. 5.5 million, Wolves midfielder playing with so much pace and stuff. But the only thing is, I'm concerned what happens when Diogo Jota has to play. It might be that, he gets rotated. That's why I'm a little bit concerned. So, yeah. Chopin says, I've got Vinagre. What should I do with him? Ruben Vinagre was a kind of a bullet, we had to dodge because there was so much rumors about him getting transferred to Porto, and then maybe Fernando Marcal was going to replace Ruben Vinagre, maybe he was going to start or not. But yeah, if you have Vinagre, guys, let's see a couple of decent 4.5 million defender options, right? So for all of you who are looking at a 4.5 million defender, this is for all of you. Please just pay attention so that I don't have to kind of go on about the same question again, guys. So here are the 4.5 million defenders that I would be considering, just based on the way they played, not especially on the fixtures, right? So I was really impressed by Luke Ayling, but he's good for game week 2. But after that, Sheffield away, I'm not so sure. Possibly the way Sheffield played today, Leeds could, go there and have a good game, but maybe Chris Wilder is going to give them kick up their backside. So we're not sure about that, right? Manchester City, no. Wolves, no. Aston Villa, possibly. So not the best fixtures, right? So not Ayling. Justin, he is a good option, guys, I'm telling you. But he's playing on the left, and as soon as Ricardo comes back, what's going to happen? Gaston is going to shift towards the left. Ricardo's gonna come on right back. So basically for 3 game weeks or 4 game weeks, you can have Justin. And out of that, I don't see these are easy fixtures. Burnley at home. We're not sure what Burnley's gonna turn up, but from the past fixtures and history and stuff, we know Burnley are a tough team, And Manchester City, of course, not an easy game. Yeah, but for these 2 games, Justin could be a decent option. So looking at the overall fixtures, up till game week 5, you can go with James Justin. 4.5. Not a bad option. This is a player I would be interested in a lot. Jamal Lewis. I think he's really fantastic. He has attacking potential, my friends. He overlaps with Saint Maxima, right? Saint Maxima takes the ball, he goes inside, he overlaps, he makes crosses. Wilson almost scored from his cross as well. This is a player I would be having a look at, definitely. Tariq Lamptey, good option. The fixtures are a little bit tough, If you want, you can go with him, but at 4.5, I think there are better options than Tariq Lamptey. Walker Peters didn't impress me especially with his defensive work, guys. He almost got sent off. For the love of God, thank God, VAR saved us. All right, so these are some of the options that I would possibly look at. Rob Holding. Some of you, been asking me like Rob Holding is a decent option. He rarely scores any goals, rarely provides any assists. 4.5 solid, but how many clean sheets are realistically Arsenal going to keep in these matches? Liverpool, Manchester City, Leicester. Very difficult games, guys. So I'll avoid an Arsenal defender in this game week, right? So 4.5, Tarek Lamptey, Jamal Lewis, Justin. You can go for them. I think decent. At 4 million, if you were looking for somebody, thinking about Mitchell, he's not going to play many games. Patrick Van Aanholt is training already, guys. So just be aware of that. Right. Let's have some comments, right? Hummus or Greenwood? For him, out of these two, I would possibly go with Hummus because, I'm just not sure with Greenwood with all this Sancho rumors. What happens if Jadon Sancho comes to the club? And to be honest with you guys, I don't think United have the best fixtures as well. This FTR has been conning us too much. I've already discussed about that in my previous streams. I just want for all of you who've not heard my streams previously, I just want you guys to have a look at this, right? Let's look at Manchester United fixtures, and this FTR is just conning us. Look here. All right, these fixtures are good, right? Crystal Palace, Brighton, fair enough. As you saw, like Brighton gave Chelsea a decent game. Of course, they're gonna have a good game against United, but United can easily win against these teams. Not a problem if they're playing in the same form like they were post restart. But Tottenham, guys, it's not an easy team. 3. Chelsea, guys, like 3. Arsenal, 3. Everton away. Look at the quality Everton got now. I mean, these FDRs are just, in my opinion, they're just showing us, they don't show us the real picture, especially the Premier League FDR. So be careful with getting too many United players in. 2 at maximum, not 3, in my opinion. And Eater says, is it okay to do a -12? I need to sell Havertz, Vinagre, and Alan St. Maxima. Anteater, I don't think it's it would be a really good idea to do a -12. If you're having to do a -12, I think you're better off going with the wild card. -12 is a little bit too much. If you can, I think it's better to do a -8 if you're really, if you really want. If you don't have 11 players that you can play, and if you're not really confident with your team, but to be honest with you, -12 is too much. And Alan St. Maxima didn't do anything which warrants selling him. What do we expect of a 5.5 million midfielder, my friends? Maybe 100 points of the season? I think that would be pretty decent for a player who's 5.5 million. So if you got Alan St. Maxima, keep him. With Havertz, I'm not sure. It's everybody's own decisions, right? I liked what I saw from Havertz at the start, but then it's about the team, right? It's not only about Kai Havertz. If Chelsea was playing better, if their midfield had more legs, Jorginho is slow, guys. Like, they were actually dominating the midfield against Chelsea. Chelsea did not have Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Fine, he's an okay player. He's not world class. So Chelsea needs more, their players back. If Pulisic was there, more direct running, more pace, it would have been better. So Havertz, a little bit dicey for me. Alan St. Maxima I'd keep. So no -12 for me and either. Yeah. So Perform says, how many points do you have? Perform, I've got 59 points. And I think since none of the Chelsea players is getting any bonus, so I think that's where I'm going to finish at this game week. By the way, guys, we've got 46 people watching the stream. For all of you who haven't subscribed, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I hope you're having fun. So Random Junkie says Chelsea will be better as Kovacic and Pulisic will be back. Yeah, that's what, if they have a better midfield. I mean, Kante was fine, but if Kovacic and Pulisic play the next game, of course it's against Liverpool. It's not going to be an easy game, but they can be better. Definitely. I think we should not jump the gun too much with Havertz, guys. We should wait. But since the next game is against Liverpool, you might be thinking you want to sell. But after that, guys, they've got some decent games, right? West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton. Not the worst games in the world, guys. And Kai Havertz, if he has to do well at Chelsea, if he has to open his goal scoring account. Same with Timo Werner. These games are really ideal for that. West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton. So guys, we need to wait and watch with Kai Havertz, in my opinion. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was poor, says Random Junkie. Yeah, definitely. I thought he had to make that pass. Timo Werner was on the run. He just had to make one through ball and he actually hit it straight at the defender. That's how appalling he was, in my opinion. Alright, let's take a few questions. Fahim says not sure how Van de Beek is going to work in Ole's system. I'm not sure, but from what I've heard in the game against Aston Villa, the friendly, they said Van de Beek was pretty good. Anteater says, I worried about my players dropping in price, which would disrupt my plans. At this moment, Anteater, I wouldn't be too worried about that. I would be worried about your team, kind of. Alright guys, so this is something which I want to tell you, right? Do not be worried about your rank at this moment in time. Do not be worried too much about your price. I don't think the prices are going to drop too much. Maybe 0.1 million for a couple of players. If we take too many hits, as they say, you cannot win the FPL in Gameweek 1 or the first few game weeks, but you can definitely lose it in the first few game weeks. Let's not be too hasty, guys. We have lots of information that we did not have in Gameweek 1, right? We know which players are starting. We know which teams are looking good. We know which teams are strong. For example, guys, who ever thought Everton gonna go to Tottenham and beat them 1-0 so convincingly that they make Spurs look really bad? I mean, Spurs weren't that bad, but they made them look really ordinary, guys. Everton is a team that we need to look at. Even Newcastle. I mean, all of us had like 2-3 Southampton players. I mean, what happened if Armstrong was fit? We possibly would have put him in our teams, right? Oops. What did I do? I'm so sorry. So we possibly would have put Armstrong in our teams as well. So guys, we need to kind of relax and think about stuff. Don't be too hasty and don't just go on selling your players and stuff. Greenwood or Van de Beek? Greenwood out of these two, definitely. Joe Hill says Jimenez or Vardy. Out of these two, I would possibly go for Jimenez, guys. Look at the fixtures. Jimenez has fantastic fixtures after this game week. Like Manchester City, I mean, that's a very difficult game, and possibly Manchester City wants to beat them. Look at this, guys. Wolves, West Ham, Fulham, Leeds is a difficult game. Don't be fooled by this FDR of 2. Newcastle, Crystal Palace, all at home, guys. This is a fantastic run. I would want to have Jimenez for this run, and guys, definitely want to have Jimenez for this run. And so and the way Jimenez plays, 8, 9, 10 points guaranteed every game week, guys. He can score 3 or 4 goals in these fixtures. So in my opinion, I would go for Jimenez, Joe. So that's my opinion. Do I keep Mitrovic? Oh my god, guys, Mitrovic was really, really big disappointment. I'm so sorry for all of you who asked me the question on the deadline stream, whether to own Mitrovic or not, but we had no information. He played midweek. He played 180 minutes in the UEFA Nations Cup, and after that, news comes out that he's not starting because he had these hamstring issues and stuff. I'm not sure why they don't give us this news beforehand. I'm so sorry for all of you who owned him. It was really disappointing way to start the game week for all of you who owned him. I was very scared of not owning Mitrovic, but I kind of dodged a bullet, but just by luck, not by any information. So Fahim says, what formation are you going to play this week? Alright, so you can have my have a look at my team. So it looks like I'm going to be playing 3-4-3 again. There's not much that I can do because I don't want to play Taylor against Leicester. Possibly Che Adams against Tottenham, not the best fixture as well, but it's going to be a 2-pointer either way because Taylor doesn't have any attacking threat. So why not play Che Adams and hit and hope kind of a little bit. But I'm happy with the Ramsdale against Aston Villa, Ayling, decent fixture. Davies, I'm not so sure about. Spurs looked really abysmal in that game, but it's Southampton. Southampton didn't look really good either, so it could be a clean sheet, guys. Who knows? And the better information for all of you, my friends, is that Davis had more touches in the final third than Matt Doherty. you believe that? I mean, he had more touches than Matt Doherty in the final third. It's pretty, for me it was a really eye-opening stat, kind of, you know. Okay. So Buckshot says, when are you doing your transfers for your strong team week? Yeah, Buckshot, I'm going to be doing, I think at this moment in time, guys, as I told you, it's just my raw feeling right now. Just watching the games, no planning, nothing. I came online, I'm talking to you guys. So my feeling right now is that I'm going to roll my transfer in Game Week 2, go to Game Week 3, see how United has been, see how Manchester City has been, which players are starting, which not, which are fit, and all these things. I will have more information about those teams. Alright, I'm going to miss maybe a couple of big scores from United, not so much from City against Wolves, but maybe from United. But if I'm better equipped with information, one game week is not a really long time to be equipped with information, make better transfers. The players I'm looking at in game week 3 is Jimenez, guys, or possibly Martial, depending upon how they play, Bruno Fernandes, and Kevin De Bruyne. These are the players I'm looking at, my friends. So, and how to get them in is obviously going to be a different story. Let's see how Salah plays against Chelsea. Let's see how Aubameyang plays. But irrespective of how Aubameyang plays, I'm going to move him on for Kevin De Bruyne. That's the plan. Barnes to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but take a 4-point hit. Harvey, I would not do that because I think Barnes has a pretty decent fixture as well. If you can actually make a transfer for some other player who doesn't have a good fixture, because Harvey Barnes has a decent game, and he looked really good in that game as well. If you look at the stats, the XG and stuff looked pretty decent. So, in my opinion, no. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't have many chances, right? He had 2 shots on goal, right? He scored the goal, he got 2 bonus points, well and good. But he had just 2 chances. Richarlison was much, much more dangerous. If he had taken those chances, we would all be talking about Richarlison right now. Opinion on Ben Mitchell? Tyrick Mitchell, I guess, right? For 4 million, and he plays. For him, he will not play for a very long time. As soon as, Patrick Van Aanholt is back, Tyrick Mitchell is out of the team. McBurney didn't do enough, says 8 Facts. Hey 8 Facts, welcome to the stream. Don't worry about it, we've got 37 game weeks to go. I remember that I have to give you a shout out on McBurney. Don't worry about it, my friend. Liam says Werner has a dead leg but should be okay. Yeah, I think dead leg isn't something that keeps you out of the next game week. So I hope he's going to be okay. Liam. Harvey says, thanks man, you're welcome my friend. Thomas says, Son to James Rodriguez. Thomas, if you have the budget, if you have 1.5 million in the bank, go Son to Bruno Fernandes. Harvey, I got 59 points this game week. And I'm pretty happy with it, guys. Just to state, I do not evaluate my team, my rank, or, I do evaluate my team, of course. I do not evaluate my points or my rank in game week 1 or even after game week 2. Look at your ranks in game week 10, guys. And if you're still down in the millions and stuff, then you start making a plan in order to get back. Otherwise, things normalize, So many people play bench boost, triple captains in first game weeks. Do not be swayed from your plans just because of your ranks. That's my opinion. If you were to do a wild card, who would you get for game week 2? I would definitely get Martial, Kevin De Bruyne. These are the 2 players I would get from those 2 teams. From United, I would be looking at Luke Shaw as well, 5 million defender, 3 easy fixtures. I would possibly be looking at Luke Shaw as well. But the players that I'm really, really interested in from United are Anthony Martial, Bruno Fernandes. And from Manchester City, I'm interested in Kevin De Bruyne. That's it. That's my opinion about these teams. Other than that, I would be looking at Jimenez. If you can kind of, hold him for one more game week against Manchester City. Look at the fixtures after City, guys. Fantastic fixtures. What should I do? Guys, how do you pronounce this? Click? Let's just go with Click, right? Click and El Neni, or Henrik and Jorginho. That's a very, very hard choice to make, Joe. Maybe you can go with the Klitsch and El Neni because they're going to play, right? I'm not sure about Henrik and Jorginho. Jorginho looked a little bit wasted at the end when he was getting substituted. So, would you double up on Dallas and Darling? Anteater? No, I would not, because they have very difficult fixtures. One defender from Leeds is enough for me. I got him in planning for Game Week 2 and Game Week 3 maybe, Ailing, and he had a decent game as well. So I'm happy with my Ailing pick, but not double up in my opinion. Jorginho because he's on panels, but are you sure he's going to play every game, guys? I'm not sure about Jorginho, I'm really not, you know. Webov says Saint Maximin out, Hendrick in. In my opinion, Webov, I think we should wait on Saint Maxima. 5.5 million player, he's going to come good. 100 points this season, not a problem. I think if you went for Saint Maxima after doing so much planning, guys, why jump from him to a guy, Jeff Hendrick, who is never so clinical, never played so well? Why should we go for Jeff Hendrick, guys? It's better to go with Saint Maximin in it. So that's my opinion, please. So just wanted to tell you that. Fahim says, shall I take Aubameyang out for Kevin De Bruyne or keep Oba? For this game week against West Ham, the way they played against Newcastle, they were appalling. Aubameyang is going to score against them, in my opinion. He is going to be a captain for game week 2, my friends. So if you ask me, I would keep Aubameyang. Anteater says 100 points isn't good. Not even 3 points a game. Anteater, you don't realize, we don't have to keep him for 38 games, right? He is going to, sooner or later, he's going to have that game in which he's going to score 10, 12 points because he has that potential. So we just wait for the right time to take him out, but not after game week 1, especially after the next fixture is against Brighton at home. Why would we take him out? I think at this moment in time, we use our transfers to solve the glaring problems in our teams or to improve our teams in a really good way. I mean, to be honest with you, Saint Maxima to Jeff Hendrick is not an upgrade, guys. That's my opinion, bro. Luke says James Greenwood or Mount. Out of all these guys, if you're sure Greenwood starts, I think Greenwood has the potential to score the most amount of points. Hummus, I'm just not sure about. I just think that, from open play, 5 chances created, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful performance by James Rodriguez. But if I was to choose an Everton asset, he would be 4th on the list for me. James Dinia would be on the top along with the strikers, right? So he's Liam says he missed games from injury. He'll do fine. Yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, I agree. I think Alan Saint Maxima is the least of our problems right now, my friends. Look at the fixture. Brighton at home. Why couldn't he score? I mean, Newcastle looked pretty fine against West Ham. I think Newcastle can score against Brighton as well. Not a problem. 4.5 keeper with good fixtures and could get a clean sheet for game week 2. These things do not match with each other. 8 facts. 4.5 million keeper with good fixtures, get a clean sheet. Very difficult. But if you're asking only for game week 2, you could go for Meslier. Meslier is going possibly to get a clean sheet in game week 2, but not after that. Carl Song says Ollie, Watkins or Mitrovic. I think Mitrovic, just because he's proven in the Premier League. Ollie Watkins is coming from the Championship. He's a fantastic talent, don't get me wrong, but I would just prefer Mitrovic over that. And it's not like Mitrovic is going to be rotated every week, because Mitrovic is the talisman of that team, right? He was just injured, that's why he got rotated. Harvey says Dean for Egan and downgrade Kyle Walker-Peters to a 4 million. I mean, if you do that, Harvey, you get a 4 million player who possibly not going to play for a very long time, because Mitchell is not going to play when Patrick Van Aanholt is back. That's my problem. Tom says triple captain Aubameyang for game week 2. Tom, I wouldn't go so far as to put a triple captain on Aubameyang, but captain, definitely. Joe Hill says, is my strike force good? Werner, Calvin, Jimenez. I think that's a pretty decent one, Joe. Maybe not for game week 2 because Werner plays Liverpool and Jimenez plays Manchester City. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty decent one. From game week 3, you're gonna bang, my friend. Mikos says, are you interested in getting Traore for game week 3? No, Mikos, the only player from Wolves I am interested in getting is possibly one defender and Jimenez. Nobody else. Podence, maybe later, game week 7, game week 8 if we know he's starting all the games. But right now, the only 2 players I'm interested in are Jimenez and, one defender, maybe Saiz. Not so sure about the defender. Fahim says I used my wildcard to get United and Everton players. Also, Gabriel, smart move. Fahim, I'm not sure if Gabriel is the right move. If I was you, I would possibly go with Kieran Tierney, because Gabriel is relatively new to the league. You can't judge a defender against Fulham, Fulham had nothing. No shots in the box, no attacks on Arsenal, but they're not going to play Fulham every week. So in my opinion, don't get an Arsenal defender for 5 million, or, get somebody like Luke Shaw, get somebody like Seamus Coleman, Reece James, all better options than Gabriel Magalis. My opinion. Carl, I've already answered your question. In my opinion, go with Mitrovic. Christian says Bruno or Salah for game week 2. If you have the option, definitely, you can go with Bruno. But if you're going to transfer Salah out, then remember they play Arsenal in game week 3. And at Anfield, against Arsenal, Salah has a fantastic record, right? So, transfer him out at your own risk, my friend. That's just my opinion. Joseph says, I'm new in this game. I've got 88 in game week 1 and only 63 overall points. I want to know why. I don't understand, my friend. If you got 88 points in game week 1, your overall points should be 88 as well. Maybe they haven't updated yet, so wait for it and they're gonna get updated, Yusuf. It takes a while for the game to get updated. Mystic says, it's my first time playing and got 70 points. Is that good? Mystic, I think that's pretty good. If you got 70 points, you have a good base starting point. You can go from there. Not a problem, my friend. Are you doing any transfer? Says Runner. Runner, I'm thinking of doing no transfer at this moment in time. These are my raw thoughts. I haven't made any plans and stuff. I'm still going to analyze the statistics. Whatever I'm saying right here, guys, is mostly from my eye test, because of I watched all the games and stuff. So that's from my eye test, right? I haven't seen any stats, so I'm going to do statistical analysis and I'm going to make a video about this game week and what I'm going to do next game week. But I still think it won't be a bad idea to roll a transfer this game week and make 3 in the next game week, or possibly make 1 transfer this game week and make 2 next game week as well. So we have to figure it out, but we have more information, my friends. So yeah, we're gonna figure it out. Don't worry about it. I'll keep you updated. Possibly 1 more live stream, a couple of videos. You have lots of content coming your way. So if you still haven't, my friends, subscribe. And by the way, guys, I just wanted to tell you, I had a Discord server. It was a pretty private Discord server, but today I put the link out on Twitter for my Discord, and I would like to share my Discord link with all of you as well, just in case any of you is interested in joining. It's a pleasant group talking FPL. No kind of no rudeness, no trolling, nobody taunting you about your game week scores and stuff. A pretty decent, pleasant group. So I've put the link in the chat. If you want, guys, you're most welcome to join the Discord, and we can have some more chats, some more banter, voice chat, and some fun over on Discord. So you're more than welcome to join, my friends. So I put the link in the chat. If you want, you're welcome to join. Harvey says, do you think there's a better 5.5 million defender than Egan? It's so hard to say at this moment in time. If you were to ask me one, I would go with Reece James. If you think he's nailed on, I think he's a fantastic option, to be honest with you. If you can go with Reece James, or you can even go with Saiz. Saiz would be good. Buckshot says, what are you thinking about Adams? I think Che Adams had a decent game. He's a lamppost, don't get me wrong, but he had decent chances. He had a decent game. What do you think, guys? I think he had a good chance to score. His hold-up play was good. He could have scored a goal, and he could have had an assist very easily if Nathan Redmond wouldn't have shot straight at the keeper. That's my eye test. That's what my eye test tells me. Why not, guys? Why not keep Che Adams for a couple of more game weeks? I don't think it's a glaring thing to keep a 6 million striker who had a couple of decent chances to score. I want to give him some more chances because that's how I always think about it. Guglio says, what do you think about switching Kyle Walker-Peters with Ayling? I have him on the bench. Yeah, that's a good option. That's what I did. Kyle Walker-Peters was in my team. I swapped him out, and Ayling comes in, and Kyle Walker-Peters went to the bench. Oliver says, are you keeping Havertz? Oliver, I don't necessarily want to keep him, but the thing is, I don't have 2 million in the bank to replace him with Bruno, and I don't want anybody else. I don't want James Rodriguez. I don't want Willian for that matter. I actually want Bruno Fernandes in my team, and if I can't get him, then I possibly can, I possibly will wait for either next game week to make some money from the sales of Aubameyang and other players, and shuffle around my pack to get Bruno Fernandes. Possibly not this game week. Runner says Everton Defenders look interesting. I think they look very interesting, guys. That's like, Everton is a team which is on my radar, especially after the performance against Tottenham. Fantastic. Really fantastic. Guys, hang on, let me have a drink of water. I've been talking too much. Alright, so Price says, is Lambda the best 4.5 million defender? No, not the best, I guess. But he's one of the good ones, right? Because Brighton is not going to keep as many clean sheets as some of the other teams. So I can't say he's the best 4.5 million, but I think he's a decent option. If you have him, you can keep him. That's the kind of position where I'm at with him. Mika says, would you rather have Rashford and Saint Maxima or Greenwood and Rodriguez? That's an interesting one. Greenwood and James Rodriguez or Rashford and Saint Maxima. I think out of these two, Greenwood and Rodriguez have a chance to score more points, in my opinion. I think in the end, if you look at the scores of both of these, I don't think this is going to be too far away. Both will have similar kind of points, but if I had opinion, Greenwood or Rodriguez. Kane says, is Trent going down in price? Alright guys, so I'll tell you a website, right, which I use for monitoring their prices. I'm not sure if anybody has told you about that before, but I'll tell you this website. It uses a predictive model, right? So I'm just telling this website, it's not accurate or anything like that, but it still is something. It gives you a fairly good idea about which players are going to fall and rise. So I'm writing its name in the chat, so just head over to this site, and just actually don't head over to that site. I'm just going to write the name, and you just search Google for this website, FPL Statistics. What they do is, guys, they use a predictive model. They watch how prices are rising and falling in FPL, and they actually read the model. They actually, try to decode it, reverse engineering and stuff, and they give you a fairly accurate prediction of which player is going to fall, which player is going to rise, and when. So use this website, guys. This is what I use. This is what you should use as well, and I think it will help you with your prices and stuff, and which players you should get in or out. Yeah. N12468 says it uses artificial intelligence and machine learning. So FPL Statistics, my friends, go to Google, type FPL Statistics, go to the website, check out for your price rises and falls. Free advertisement for you, FPL Statistics. You're welcome. Alright. Buying Sterling in place of KDB for Game Week 2. Sterling has 4 goals in last 2 seasons opening fixtures for City. Faiz, you can go with Sterling if you want to. It's just the same argument with Mane and Sterling, and the same argument with Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne, or Mane and Salah. It's the same. It's a similar argument. Sterling is maybe a little bit more explosive than Kevin De Bruyne, but Kevin De Bruyne is so reliable, guys. It's a fantastic option. 251 points last season. What's not to like about De Bruyne? I just don't understand why would you go over Sterling, or for Sterling over De Bruyne. Sterling doesn't take penalties, and when he does, he's abysmal, but that's for another day, right? Sterling doesn't take penalties, he doesn't take free kicks. The only way he can score is from open play, right? He's explosive in a couple of games, I understand, but in my opinion, if I was to go, I would go for Kevin De Bruyne. That's my opinion. Danny says Greenwood or Van de Beek. Out of these two, Greenwood in my opinion, my friend. Sohail says, did you know Oba had the most captain and vice captain? Sohail, yeah, that was pretty obvious to me in my opinion, because he was playing against Fulham, right? Although Willian got all the plaudits and stuff, and Aubameyang wasn't too involved, but on paper, Aubameyang had the easiest fixture, and yeah, I think it would be fairly common for him to be most captain. Ashraf says, how was your game week? Ashraf, my game week was fine. Can't say was the best, can't say was the worst, can't complain too much. 59 points. Captain did well. Aubameyang got 14 points. Salah got 20 points. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, my punt for game week 2, actually got me points in game week 1, so I'm pretty happy with that. Timo Werner, 5 points. Very underwhelming. Kai Havertz, underwhelming. But overall, the worst thing was my defense, guys. 4 points in total, did they get? 5? Yeah, 5 points in total. It was so abysmal, guys. I expected much more from them, but no. Wisham says, will you be keeping Aubameyang after the second game week? Possibly not, my friend. Possibly not. Let's see how he does in game week 2, how Arsenal are faring in game week 2. Although I had made up my mind to sell Salah for Bruno Fernandes, but after a hat-trick, it's making it very difficult for me to sell him. Ashraf says, why didn't you go for Vardy? I don't know, man. I just didn't have the funds. If I had the funds, I tried to fit him in my team. I could not. Then, I just decided that this was the best way to go for my team. Because we didn't have much information before first game week, right? Now we do. Now we're gonna have better teams, right? Best replacement for Ali. That's a very good question, guys. I think we need to address that. If you have Dele Alli, many of you have, right? I was very concerned about that substitution that happened. Jose Mourinho, after the game, he said it was tactical. It wasn't an injury, guys. It was tactical. What was tactical about subbing out Dele Alli for Moussa Sissoko? He said Sissoko gives us more dynamism. That was a bag of lies. Sissoko doesn't give you any dynamism as compared to Dele Alli. It would have been a fight. Something, guys. Something broke there, right? So, in my opinion, I think Dele Alli has something going on with Mourinho behind the scenes. It's not about how he was playing, not at all, in my opinion. I think he was playing not the best, but I don't think he needed to be subbed off at halftime. So in my opinion, I think we should wait. Tottenham have a midweek game, and for that matter, for all of you who are watching this, I just want to tell you, there are so many midweek games. Do not make any early transfers because Fulham, Sheffield, all these teams are playing EFL games in midweek. There might be injuries, Newcastle as well, and Tottenham are playing a Europa League game. Guys, do not make your transfers before these games happen, because if then injuries happen, you'll be stuck with these players for a long time. So just be careful with that. Do not make early transfers, especially when you have midweek games. And then we'll have more information with the press conferences of managers and stuff. So be careful with that, right? Don't make early transfers. Just wanted to remind you about that. About Ali replacement, James Rodriguez is the same price bracket. Willian, I'm not too sure. I'm not too confident about. Harvey Barnes could be a good replacement, guys. He's got good fixtures. And the obvious replacement could be, Phil Foden, Mason Greenwood, all fantastic shouts. You can go with them if you are confident. Phil Foden is going to start every game week. I think he is going to be an absolute value for money player, Phil Foden. You can go with Phil Foden. Otherwise, Mason Greenwood, safe option. Until Jadon Sancho comes to Manchester United, I think Greenwood is going to start. So that's my opinion about that. There's no starking, like for like replacement that I tell you, okay, sell him, get him. But I told you the best option in that price bracket. The second option you can do is get a cheaper player, take the money out, invest it elsewhere. Best 4.5 million goalkeeper. I'm not so sure. Maybe Martinez, guys. What do you think about Emi Martinez at Aston Villa, right? I think it's a pretty decent option. It could be. Aston Villa were really good defensively at the end of the season with I think Smith really made them defensively better. at the end of the season. That's why they ended up staying up. And with Emi Martinez as their keeper, I think they could be a good team for that. Meslier could be good, but really difficult fixtures. Martial or Greenwood? Daniel, 100% Anthony Martial for me. Ollie says Grealish in for Ollie. In my opinion, not, my friend. I think Grealish at 7 million is not the best option. In my opinion, you can go for Harvey Barnes. And if you think Phil Foden is going to play, we need to watch for one game week. If Phil Foden starts and does well, guys, he could be nailed in the Manchester City team. Although Pep rotation hits as always, but still, guys, Phil Foden at 6.5 million could be a real steal of the season. Sell Vinagre for -4. Suraj, if you have a bench option which you can play for this game week, you can possibly keep Vinagre. And I don't think it's a good idea to replace Vinagre for -4, especially if you're getting a player who you are not going to play. Maybe if you want to get somebody like Erling, but still, selling a defender for -4 is just very hard for me to advocate for that. Okay, Ashraf says, which website do you mainly rely on to collect your data? I use fairly a lot of websites. If you don't know, by the way, guys, I have a football compilations channel as well. If you want, you can check it out. It's called Matrix Comps. I make football videos in which you can see all these skills and stuff and all these different players. I put the link. So I use fairly a lot of sites. I use Transfer Market, website. I use Who Scored, and then I use the normal ones like Fantasy Football Fix, FPL Statistics, Premier Fantasy Tools. If you ask me what I trust about making my FPL decisions, I trust my eye, like the eye test much more than the statistics. Maybe 80% about the eye test and 20% about the stats. That's my opinion. But yeah, guys, so I use all these websites. Maybe I'll make a video for all of you to tell you about exactly which resources I use for my analysis. So that would help you a lot. No thanks says, that's an interesting name. I need a midfielder. I can spend 9.5. I was thinking Rashford. I think Rashford can be a good option. The only thing which worries me a little bit about Rashford is that he's not going to take penalties for United anymore. And, being reclassified as a midfielder, he's not even going to get as many bonus points. Possibly he's going to get 1 point for clean sheet and 1 more point for scoring a goal. But he's not going to get as many bonus points as well. So I'm a little bit concerned about spending 9.5 at Rashford. I would rather get Martial, to be honest with you. Bruno for Son, says Thomas. 100%, my friend. No problems with that move. Pushim says, is it too early to replace Werner for Martial? I think it is too early, but Martial is a really good option for the next 2 or 3 game weeks. And if you don't have any striking problems in your team, and if you didn't like the performance of Timo Werner today, and if you thought that Martial can do better than him in the next 3 game weeks, you can do it, my friend. Not a big problem with that. N says, should I keep Son in my midfield or change him for Havertz or Bruno? If you can change him for Bruno, I would possibly do that. Not for Havertz, not after this performance today, but for Bruno, I can advocate for that. Yeah. 8 Facts has asked a very difficult question. He says, Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Wilson? That's a very difficult one, guys. What do you think? Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Wilson? I think for the long term, Wilson can do as well as Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if not better. But for the short term, Everton are on a high. I think they've got some really good midfielders and stuff. I would go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin for the short term, right? For the long term, I think they'll do fairly similarly over the season. Wilson, Calvert-Lewin, Wood. Good enough for front 3. Possibly, my friend. That's a very cheap forward line, but doesn't look that bad on paper to me. Wilson, Calvert-Lewin and Chris Wood. Guys, by the way, I'm sorry if you can hear me stuttering a little. It's 4 o'clock here in India and I'm live streaming because I promised that I was going to live stream after the game. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm live streaming here. So I'm so sorry if you can hear a little bit of a slur in my voice. I apologize for that. Anton says Calvert-Lewin hands down. I agree with you. I think Calvert-Lewin is a good option, definitely. Trevor says Bruno will be the top scoring player of the season. Possibly Trevor. I can't say with full certainty because there are fairly good midfielders or fairly good players in the league this season, but he'll be up there. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Lee says, I think Werner got off to a great start for his debut, keeping him for the long run, getting Foden in for next week. Hope he starts. Guys, Phil Foden, fantastic option. If if he starts all the games for City, I think at 6.5 million, he is going to be a steal. Just trust me on this, my friends. Daniel says Martial and Wilson, best two-man combination up front. Could be Daniel. Martial, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Martial, Wilson. I think that could be a fantastic option. Chris Wood is also a good shout, but I have to see how he plays before I can comment on him, right? No thanks says, is it okay to have both Trent and Robertson? I think it at the start of the season there was a fairly common strategy with people going with two Liverpool defenders, but as time passes, as we saw the performance of Liverpool, they weren't really good defensively, right? So a little bit hard for me to say to keep both of them. Actually, guys, Robertson looks much more sharper than Trent Alexander-Arnold. Maybe Alexander-Arnold doesn't have the match fitness, but it's very hard to say. But with the fixtures like Chelsea, Arsenal, it would be a little difficult for me to say to keep both of them. But if you already have them, I wouldn't say, it would be a bad idea to possibly sell one of them for Luka Dean. I think it would be a good idea, Asraf says, I was going to ask you if you have moved from India. No, Asraf, I haven't moved. I'm still streaming from India, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still talking to you guys. But guys, I'm having really lots of fun talking to you guys. I love FPL. I love talking about FPL, and if you do as well, I'm posting my Discord link in the chat. You should join, and we have a really nice, pleasant community building there. And if you want to be a part of it, please feel free to join my Discord, and we can, we chat FPL there all day long as well. So you're welcome to join. Kai says, we'll change our perspective once the Pep Roulette start. It's gonna happen, guys. Pep Roulette is inevitable, right? Just like change is inevitable, Pep Roulette is inevitable. But we have to take it in consideration. We can't ignore the Manchester City players, especially Phil Foden at 6.5. Can't ignore. Hashim says, isn't having two new Chelsea boys a risk? Mainly because they're expensive and need time to gel. Hashim, I think after watching today's game, I think we can say that. But I think Werner was fairly good. I think he had a good game. Havertz, not so much. But, after the Liverpool game, look at this. Like, they have some decent fixtures, right? West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton. I mean, Havertz is a fantastic player. I've seen him in Bundesliga. I've seen the way he plays. He likes to come into the box late. He makes late runs. He makes runs into space. But today Chelsea could not control the midfield. They were playing on the counter-attack. That's why Havertz wasn't so effective. So I just want to give him one more chance. Premier League Fantasy says, even me. I'm so sorry. I don't know the context about the comment, my friend. So, Moritz Bold says, transfer Havertz out to Rodriguez plus 2 million so I can get him in his next week, or Rashford. Yeah, that could be a good option, my friend. But, are you sure about Hummus Rodriguez? That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't seem like a player who's going to get 15 points in a game week. He looks more like a player who's going to get you, 9 points, 8 points, 7 points a game week, in my opinion, right? But, if Everton start hammering teams 3, 4, 5-0, then he could become a really decent option. But I'm really more interested in Richarlison and Luka Dean as compared to Hummus. So you can go with somebody like Phil Foden, Moritz. Think about that. Greg Smith says, hey, thoughts on Greenwood and Lambda's performance? I think Lambda's performance was really good, Greg, and I think Greenwood is a really good option unless Jadon Sancho comes to Manchester United. I think Greenwood is nailed on to start. Good option. Daniel Sims, Reece James was on corners. That was really strange. I never expected Reece James to take corners, my friends. But he was, and he got an assist. So 5 million. I think he's the best 5 million defender right now. Even better than Size, in my opinion. Reece James, guys, if he starts every game, I think he would be in most of the FPL teams not before long. Sai says, what are your thoughts on early wildcard? Guys, my thoughts on early wildcard is it actually really depends on how you like the look of your team. For example, I'm fairly satisfied with the team I have for game week 2. I'm not really worried about my rank or my team or my points at this point, so I never use an early wildcard. Mostly I wait until the first international break, game week 4, game week 5, even longer if I'm doing well. I just take it to for example game week 8. When I got 500 rank in the world, right? I used my wildcard in game week 8. Until that time my team was pretty good. I was actually taking a couple of hits as well, but I used it in game week 8 and set up my team. And it's all depends upon your team, guys. It's very hard for me to say what's the best time. Like, there's no fixed set best time for using a wild card. That's all I can say about that. Any chance of Torres starting for Manchester City? Danny, it's very hard to say, my friend. Greg says, what are your points for this week? I got 59 points, Greg. So kind of average in it. Harshvardhan says, I have Redmond. Want to get someone for 6 million. Please advise. He says, I'm reposting. I'm so sorry for missing your comment, Harshvardhan. You want somebody for 6 million. I mean, at 6 million, there are not many options in midfield, right? 6 million to replace Nathan Redmond. I mean, I would have, if it was before first game week, I would have said James Ward-Prowse, but he looked really bad. I really don't like the look of any cheap midfielders right now. Let's have a look, guys. Let's have a look at for any of you who want cheap midfielders. Here's where we can have a look, right? Jeff Hendrick, not for me. Click, maybe, guys. I mean, Leeds midfielders are interesting for me. Leandro Trossard was interesting, but I don't like his fixtures. Newcastle away, Manchester United, Everton. If you want for long term, I think Leandro Trossard can be a good option. This is a guy who I have my eyes on. I've said previously in the stream as well. But Daniel Podence is not nailed on to start. If he was nailed on for these fixtures, guys, he would be really an awesome pick. But he's not nailed on, so moving on. You see, there's no stark clear options in this price category, just like the cheap defender category or the cheap keeper category. Maybe Click, guys. What do you think? Give us your options. Harrison, Click. I think the Leeds midfielder offer good value in this price range, my friend. Right now nothing else comes to mind. Maybe it's really late in the night, but right now nothing else comes in the mind. Sorry, Mr. Scuffy misses a lot. Says, should I do Trent to 4.5 and Son to Salah or KDB? If you want, for example, you selected Trent in your team. We thought so much about our teams, and jumping off Trent just seems wrong at this moment in time for me. But looking at the fixtures, you possibly can, but don't. For this game week, if you want to make this transfer, don't go from Son to Salah. It would be better to go from Son to Kevin De Bruyne. But if you take my advice, I would wait for one more game week before making this transfer. Because even KDB has a difficult game, Salah has a difficult game, and any 4.5 you pick is not going to be a very, very good option anyway. Maybe James Justin, that's why I would advise you to wait one more game week. Neo says Pereira from West Brom could be a good option. He could be a good option, but I was not too impressed. Like, the way West Brom started for the first 35 minutes, they were good. Once they conceded the goal, they were absolutely they were just gone. Like, there was nothing left. Ursh says, do you think Pulisic will start next week? I think he will start, Ursh. Yeah, I think he's fit. I think he's going to start. Danny says, what about NATO at 5.5? He is not nailed. So I don't think he's going to start every game, Danny. Faze says 3 players you'll never buy. That's a very interesting one. I would have said Heung-min Son, but he trolled me so much in the past few years, guys. I just whenever I buy him, he just ends up getting a red card, does some crazy stuff. Serge Aurier as well. I mean, just crazy guy. Always gets some red cards. But who else, guys? Who else am I not going to buy? Which is a player who has trolled me in the past? There have been many, don't get me wrong, but just thinking. Thank God Shane Duffy's gone, by the way. Yeah, so Son definitely. I would have said Serge Aurier as well, and Kiko Femenia. Thank God Watford got relegated, but yeah, never gonna buy that guy. Daniel says Harrison looked a beast. Yeah, I think the Leeds midfielders offer really good value, my friends. Just keep your eye on them. YTSCS says Pulisic is not fit. Suffered a setback in training a couple of days ago, so that's why he wasn't in the squad. Yeah. So guys, that's why I always, I'm advising you right now again. Just want to say it again. Don't make early transfers just because a 0.1 price rise or something like that. If you're getting priced out of your transfer, possibly you want to make a transfer. If not, wait. There are midweek games, EFL Cup. All these clubs, Newcastle, Sheffield, all these, they play midweek. Their manager's gonna have 2 press conferences before the start of the next game week. You're gonna have more information. Same with Tottenham. They're gonna play this Europa League tie, right? So Mourinho is gonna have a couple of press conferences. So why not wait? Why not gather more information? Let Lampard say Pulisic is fit or not, and then we can make the decision. It would be much more easier for us. So that's my opinion. Son for Martial, yes, in my opinion, if you can, but you're gonna have to take a hit. But if you want, you can do it. I think Martial for next game week is a good option. Hang on, guys. I have a new cup. All right. Excuse me. All right. Game week 2 captain says FPL Z. My captain is Aubameyang. Definitely. Size is nailed. He looks to be nailed. I think the new guy Fernando Marcal is going to play on left back mostly. So I think Roman Size, especially after the performance he gave today, I think he's nailed. Thoughts on Ben Davies? How can I get him out? Honestly. And Jack, the only thought is how can I get him out? Seriously, that Tottenham performance was abysmal. But I'm going to keep him. The fixtures are easy. So I'm going to keep him. I don't since I selected him, I made lots of this I thought about it for a long time. Just because of one bad game, I'm not going to transfer him out. He didn't even have a bad game. He had more touches in the final third than Matt Doherty. Just let that sink in, guys. So I'm going to keep Davis, in my opinion. N says guys, you can get Holding, but no guarantee he'll be regular. I mean, Holding is okay, guys. Do you really want to get an Arsenal defender for these fixtures? I mean, just have a look at these fixtures. Do you really want an Arsenal defender? Liverpool away, Manchester City away, Leicester, Manchester United. Guys, these are crazy fixtures. I do not know of these. Who are these people who are bringing in Gabriel Magalis and all these guys like Willian? Do you think Willian is going to score too many points against Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Leicester? I don't think so, guys. I mean, he's not going to play Fulham every week. Do not be so quick to jump the gun. Just hang on. Think about stuff. That's all I say. Maruf says Richarlison misses a lot, lacks accuracy. I agree with you, but he got 13 goals last season. I mean, with the team he has, with James Rodriguez to assist him and Allen sitting in front of the defense, Richarlison could get more than 15 goals this season. That would be a fantastic return for a guy who's just 8 million. By the way, guys, it's please consider subscribing to the channel. There's 132 of you watching right now. I think this is a record for my stream. There have never been so many people on my stream. So please like the video. Please subscribe. If you're having fun, if you're enjoying talking FPL to me, please consider subscribing. Please, consider joining the Discord channel as well. I really appreciate it. Thabo Pizzo says, Ake. I'm not sure about Ake. They bought him to replace John Stones, kind of. But they are being linked to Koulibaly and all these center backs. So I'm not sure if Pep is going to trust Ake to start right away, or will he wait for him to learn the system. So if he was nailed, Ake is a fantastic Manchester City defender for 5.5 million. I'm not sure he's nailed. Kero says, stop the music. Alright, I'm so sorry, guys. If you're getting disturbed from the music, just let me know. I can put the volume of the music down, my friend. But just trust me, it's better. It's better with the music. You don't want to hear only my voice. That's just my opinion, but I'm sorry. I just put the music down. Okay. Gitaria says Martial or Ings, 100%. Anthony Martial, go for it. Jake Friend says I have $500,000 in the bank. Should I go for Son to Rashford or Ings to Martial? Jake, in my opinion, you should go for Ings to Martial. I think that would be a better option. Son has an easy fixture, and after this game, we can possibly move him on for. We'll have even more better information. Son can possibly get you some points this game week, and then we can move him on for some better midfielder. Martial is on form right now, playing Crystal Palace at home. I think Martial is a good option. Yeah, Daniel says Martial is the best forward in the game. I mean, guys, a Manchester United forward playing all the games, nailed on to start for 9 million. What's not to like? It would be really, really bad for us to not go for Martial at some point in this season. If I had the money, I would go for him this game week, but no. Neo says I was really liking the background music. I'm sorry, my friend. We cannot satisfy everybody, but I just put the volume down a little bit, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna adjust it so that everybody can enjoy it without having to disturb them too much. Harry Dawson says Podence looks a good option. Yeah, I think Podence is a good option, but we need to look out for Podence if he starts every game or not. So that's my concern about Daniel Podence. FPLZ says, is Aguero fit? Or will Jesus start? Your thoughts, and will you consider any? The only Manchester City player I am considering right now for my team is De Bruyne, FPLZ, but from the news, from what I read, I think Aguero is fit, and I think he can start against Wolves, So yeah. Manuel Di Rivero says Salah or De Bruyne, and that's a very short question, my friend, but for the upcoming game weeks, if I had to choose one out of the two, I would possibly go for De Bruyne just based on the fixtures. I think De Bruyne has easier fixtures than Salah. If I says Naby Keita or Phil Foden, in my opinion, if you're sure that Naby Keita is going to start every week, then I think he can be a very decent option. But compared to Phil Foden, I think the potential Phil Foden has for FPL points is much more than the Naby Keita. Audu says, is Manchester United player necessary for this game week? I mean, if you can afford a Manchester United player like Martial or Bruno Fernandes, maybe if you can afford Luke Shaw for 5 million, that could be a decent option. But if you ask me, I think if you can afford Martial or Bruno for this game week, that will give you an advantage over the other managers like me who don't want to make a transfer, right? So yeah. Nobody mentions Sterling, says Sai. Yep. In my opinion, I'm just that type of a manager, guys. I always like to play the percentages game. There's a player called Late Riser. He came like 30th in the world. He's a fantastic player as well. He always plays the game right opposite to how I played. He doesn't play the percentages game. Like, he'll just take crazy like risks and stuff, and he comes out on top every time. He's a fantastic player as well. His ID is Late Riser on Twitter, so if you don't follow him, I think you should. He's a fantastic player as well. Manuel Di Rivera says best long-term player. I think the best long-term player, at this moment in time, is looking like Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's going to be one of the top point scorer again this season. Chitaria says Fernandes or Son. In my opinion, Fernandes, 100%. Kair says get Bamford instead of Adams. Kair, I think Bamford is a good player. Don't get me wrong, he scored against Liverpool, but he's not clinical. He's not going to get you 15 goals a season. That's not what Bamford is in the team for. Bielsa likes to play Bamford because he's pressing from the front and all this work rate he puts in, but he's not clinical. So in my opinion, I'd just better off staying with Adams. Danny says, do I remove Ali or Havertz for James or Hummus? I think Ali could be the better option because I think Ali has a problem with Mourinho or something like that. I don't think, let's see what happens in midweek in the Europa League game. Does Ali play? Does he not play? But if you think Ali is Ali is playing in midweek, then possibly Mourinho still trusts him. If he doesn't, move Ali on. That's my opinion. Nehal says, how about Inks to Martial? Have Adams as well. Definitely, bro. I think you should go for Martial. I mean, don't get me wrong. Inks could have scored, last night. Inks could have scored easily. If not for Gaita, he made a fantastic save from Danny Ings. But still, I feel if you have Adams, you don't need two Southampton strikers, especially after how abysmal the Saints were against Crystal Palace. Martial is on form. Manchester United striker, 9 million, long-term option. Go for it, Neil. That's my opinion. Jeet, please refrain from writing the same message again. The Streamlabs bot might, just ban you. So, Werner or Vardy? Very difficult question. If you have Werner, keep Werner. If you have Vardy, keep Vardy. Don't change at this moment in time. That's all I have to say about that. Is Davis to Saiz a good transfer? Although I don't think it's a bad transfer. I mean, if you're having to make that transfer, that means your team must be really, really good if you're considering Davis to Saiz, right? So yeah, I think if you want, you can do it, but not this game week. I think in this game week, Davis has a better match than Roman Saiz. Roman Saiz plays Manchester City. Don't make this transfer now. That's what I say. Game week 3, think about it, my friend. Should I go for Saint Maximin to Klish? Birkeren, in my opinion, Birkeren, in my opinion, no, because I think you would be wasting a transfer. I think Alan Saint Maxima has a decent fixture as well. Both can get the points. So, in my opinion, no. Harry Dawson says Nketiah replacement. Massively 0.5 to maybe 0.5 to add on. Yeah, my friend, definitely you can go for Wilson. I really like the look of Callum Wilson, the way he played for Newcastle. I really like that, So yeah, Richard Dixon says Pulisic out or leave till game week 3. Let's see what Lampard says about Pulisic. I mean, he said he was fit. We all thought he was gonna play. A lot of players put him in their teams as well, but he didn't start. So some of our chatters said he had a setback in training. So let's see. I don't have any update about that. So that's my opinion. Birkeren says thank you. You're welcome, Birkeren. Thank you so much for coming on the stream. Anas says Martial or Rashford. In my opinion, Anas, Martial, but then you'll have to take a hit, so you have to decide if you have to wait or not. But out of Martial and Rashford this season, I think Martial is the better option. Moobsy says Havertz and Barnes to Harrison and Bruno worth the hit. Not this game week. I think it would be a little bit of a sideways transfer. It could be worth a hit, but right now it's very hard to say, my friend. Very hard to say. Sai says subscribed. Really appreciate. Thank you so much for subscribing, my friends. Please, I've got 163 people watching right now. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please subscribe. You're going to get lots of FPL content from me. This show, FPL Aftermath, I plan to do it after every game week. Live, raw reactions without any stats, just my eye test. So if you like what you see here, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you so much. Jay says, what's your plan for Game Week 2? At this moment, Jay, I'm considering rolling my transfer, going to Game Week 3 and making 3 transfers. But that's current plan, but I'm going to post a video and update you about my plans after I see the midweek games, the Europa League qualifiers and stuff. But I'll let you know about my plan. At this moment in time, I'm just thinking to roll my transfer because, I planned a little bit ahead of the time, right? I put Dominic Calvert-Lewin in my team, especially for this game week. West Bromwich. I knew he had a good fixture in Game Week 2. I put him in the team. Luke Ayling, I put him in the team for Fulham. So I planned a little bit for Game Week 2 as well. So, I'm not too concerned about my team. I think I have a decent team. So, I think I'm going to keep it like this. And if something comes up during the midweek, some injury, some news, then I'm going to decide, whether to make the transfer or not. Nihal says swap Havertz for James Rodriguez. Possibly. I just don't want to. Since I spent so much time looking at the stats, watching the videos of Kai Havertz and stuff, I just don't want to jump off from him, especially after one bad performance, And that was not a bad performance by Kai Havertz, guys. Don't get me wrong. It was a collective bad performance by Chelsea. You know, like um, if Kai Havertz was playing in a team which had the possession, but Brighton was dominating the possession, that's why Kai Havertz had a bad game. Look at these fixtures after the Liverpool game, of course. West Brom, Crystal Palace, Southampton. They are not bad fixtures for Chelsea. I think Chelsea is going to win all these 3 games. So why not keep Havertz? Just thinking about that, right? So I'm not gonna go for that. Auto says he looked pretty nervous on the ball. Yeah, he did actually. He made a very bad pass as well, which is all over the Twitter. So it could be, guys. What can we say about that? But I think he's a decent player. His quality is going to shine through eventually. Swap Werner for Vardy. In my opinion, motion, I think I would not. But if you have Werner, I would keep Werner. If you have Vardy, I would keep Vardy. Vardy had 0, guys. 0 non-penalty expected goal. I mean, that's an amazing stat. He was so bad in the game. He had no shots in the box, nothing doing. 2 penalties, boom, 13 points, guys. But he's not going to get 2 penalties every week. Consider that, please. Just, think about it, my friends. So, Mitrovic or Wilson? Mitrovic or Wilson? I mean, Wilson looked really, really good. If I had to choose now, although they are not on the same kind of price range, but I would choose Wilson over Mitrovic, definitely. Phillips is good. Yeah, Leicester. Leeds midfielders are really good, but I want to wait. A little bit to watch a little bit more. But Click, Harrison, all these guys from Leeds look really good. None of the other players from other teams have impressed me so much as the Leeds midfielders. I thought Saka is a good option at 5.5, but he didn't start. So Leeds midfielders at 5.5 really good. Transfer Havertz for Rashford, possibly, mate. If you have 1 million in the bank, you don't have to take a hit. You can go that way. On to Rodriguez. Zadar, if you have 1.5 in the bank, go from Son to Bruno Fernandes. That would be a better option in my opinion. If you don't, you can. If you like Rodriguez, I like him, but I still want to see him a little bit more. Werner for Martial. Many people have asked the same question. Werner to Martial is very hard for me to say that you should do this transfer, but if you didn't like the look of Werner today, guys, it's a very subjective question, right? Martial is a good option, no problems. But if you put Werner in your team for just 1 game week, then just make the transfer, not a problem. But if you put Werner in your team for a long term, did you not like what you saw from him? He made good runs, he was fast, he was direct. I mean, if you still want to go for Martial, then make this conscious decision. But in my opinion, I'm going to keep Werner for a little bit longer, hopefully. Danny says, how will you bring in Kevin De Bruyne? Aubameyang out for Kevin De Bruyne in Game Week 3, Danny. That transfer is locked. Hummus played well, definitely played well. Hummus is on my radar, guys. Look at these fixtures after Game Week 2. I'm going to bring in Hummus for these matches, guys. West Ham, Fulham, Leeds, Newcastle, Crystal Palace. Hummus is coming into my team. 9-pointer every week. Why not, guys? So yeah, I'm going to think to bring Hummus in my team, definitely. Guys, by the way, I've been talking for a pretty long time, so I'm going to wrap up my stream pretty soon. So if you have any questions, please hit me up. I'm sorry I'm not able to answer all the questions, but I'm trying to answer as much as I can. Brendan says, what about Ings? What's your thoughts? I think Ings is a decent player, and if you have 0.5 million in the bank, you can go to Martial, but if you kind of have other problems in your team, then you can keep Ings, because I think Ings can score against Spurs. Not a problem. Ings was on good form in the last match as well. Could have scored. Not a problem. So I think if you have other problems in your team, keep Ings. If you don't, you can possibly sell Danny Ings. Okay, I need to. Bruno or Martial? That's a very difficult question, Wale Hansen. The thing is, if it depends on how you set up your team. The way I set up my team, I preferred Bruno Fernandes for my team, right? Because that's the way I had to set up my team to move on to Martial or Bruno. I decided I'm going to move on for Bruno, and that's how I set my team. So if you set your team for Bruno, go for Bruno Fernandes. If you set your team, like if you have Danny Ings, 0.5 in the bank, go for Martial. If you have somebody like Salah or somebody like Kai Havertz and 2 million in the bank, go for Bruno. There is not one good question, my friend. Just like option out of the two. They are both good options. If I had the money, if I had the transfer, I would go for both of them. But just you have to look at your team and decide what's best for you. Who are you transferring out for KDB, says Sai? I'm transferring out Aubameyang in game week 3. Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin for long term? I would prefer Richarlison, but he's 1 million costly and I can't afford him based on the structure of my team, so I'm going for Calvert-Lewin. I decided to go for him, but based on the statistics, guys, 2 shots on goal versus 7 shots on not on target but on goal. 7 shots on goal by Richarlison, 2 by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There's no comparison. I think Richarlison is going to get more goals than Calvert-Lewin this season. Which player do you see replacing Lord Lundstrom? Lundstrom was a defender, right? I don't see anybody replacing him. There's no such good cheap defenders. Reece James looks really interesting to me. He's not an unknown quantity, but he looks really interesting. Danny says, how will you bring in Jimenez? I'm probably going to get some money and replace Adams with Jimenez in game week 3, my friend. I have to work it out. I'm not saying I've worked it already. I have some players in my mind that I want to get in, but then I'm going to decide how to get those players in. That's what I have to decide still. But Jimenez is on my radar. He's going to come in my team one way or another, my friend. So yeah. Son to James Rodriguez, possibly, my friend. If you can't go from Son to Bruno, you can go for James. Personally, for my team, I am not going to get James. I'm looking more towards Digne from Everton and Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison. Rollins says keep Kane. Definitely, don't jump off Kane from after one game week. It wasn't Kane's fault how Spurs played. He had little or no service. Keep Kane. Southampton have been really bad against Crystal Palace. Kane would score. Would you go from Werner to Martial? I possibly could actually, Shabir. I haven't made up my mind about how I am going to get a United player, but as I'll read the comments at this is my raw reaction just after the games, but that's not a bad option. I actually do that, So depending upon how I feel, how I listen to the press conferences and all these things, I could make this move. Not a problem. Hang on, guys. Let me have a drink of water, please. Alrighty. So I'm going to post my Discord link once again in the chat for anybody who wants to join. You can have conversations with not just me, but other members of the community as well. A pleasant and a polite community. If you want, you can join my Discord. It's in the chat. You're most welcome to join. Roland says captain apart from Aubameyang. Any of the Manchester United players like Martial, Bruno Fernandes are very good options for game week 2. Even I would go out on a limb and say an Everton option could be a good idea as well. But guys, does anybody know who takes the penalties for Everton? Are we sure who takes the penalties? At a point in time it was Sigurdsson. We're not. Are you sure who takes the penalties? That could be a very interesting one to keep an eye on. Havertz for James Rodriguez. Possibly Havertz for James Rodriguez. Nicola, if you like the look of James Rodriguez, you can go for it. That's perfectly a decent move. For me, I think I'm possibly going to keep Havertz, because I am not considering James for my team. Do I bench Mitrovic for Saint Maxima? That's a pretty kind of a sideways decision, my friend. I think both are good options. Mitrovic has played against Leeds in the Championship. I'm not sure if he scored against them because Leeds beat them once and Fulham beat them once. So I think they're both good options. If I had to choose, I would possibly play Saint Maxima over Mitrovic. Keep Son instead of Greenwood for this game week. Jay, you can keep him because Son plays against Southampton and Southampton were abysmal, and Mourinho is going to be angry. He's gonna kick up their backsides and they're possibly gonna beat Southampton. So yeah, you can go for him. Hey Peter Cruz, welcome. Been streaming for a very long time, not here for a very long time, but welcome to the live stream. Hey Dylan, welcome. Is Ings to Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Dylan, if you have the money, go from Ings to Martial. That would be better in my opinion. But if not, that's a good move as well. Face says, will Thiago Silva be a starter? Zuma or Christiansen, who will be replaced? In my opinion, I think Christiansen possibly, because Christiansen was rotated last year. Zuma started a lot of games unexpectedly for Lampard, but I'm not sure if Zuma is the long-term option as well, because they bought this new player Malang Sarr as well, so he's going to get some game time as well. But Thiago Silva is how old? 36. Not sure if he's going to be able to play all the games. James says, hey, what to do with Ali? My friend, let's wait for Mourinho's press conference. They got a midweek game against, I'm not sure who they play against, but it's a Europa League qualification tie, and then he's going to have a press conference before the game against Southampton. So when we have more information, and if we are sure Ali is not going to play, then you can move him on for somebody like Harvey Barnes, possibly, you know. Luke Douglas. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna take the last couple of questions. I'll tell you the time. It's about 4:30 a.m. here in India. I promised you all I'm going to stream right after the match with my reactions. I did not know the last match is going to end at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, but I kept my promise. I did the stream, but I have to go soon. I'm totally spent, guys. Alright. So Gukesh says Rashford to Martial. Rashford is greater than Martial. In my opinion, this season, Martial is going to get more points than Rashford. Lewis says Adams, Mitrovic or Antonio. Not Antonio. No West Ham player, my friends. No West Ham player. They are going absolutely down this season. They barely saved themselves last season, but they're very bad, and very bad fixtures as well. Out of these, Lewis, go for Mitrovic. That's my opinion. So I think, yeah. So Tabo says thanks for streaming. Smelly Rabbit says great stream. Thank you so much, my friend. Richarlison or Martial? Peter, in my opinion, out of these two, they're both really good options. If I could, I'd get them both, my friend. They're very, very good options, right? But if I had to choose one of the two, I'd possibly go for Martial, I think. Roland says, well done, mate. You answered the questions very well. Never missing a stream. Keep at it. Thank you so much, Roland. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your comments. Katie says, do I keep John Egan? I don't see any reason not to keep John Egan, my friend. Look at these fixtures here. Aston Villa, I think they can keep a clean sheet there. Leeds, possibly not. Fulham, they have good fixtures. I'd still be confident with John Egan. Why not? Peter says, great stream as always. Faye says, did you see the Tottenham documentary? It was so funny, guys. It actually made me want to buy Dele Alli, the All or Nothing of Tottenham. If you haven't watched it, guys, it's on Amazon Prime. Do watch it. It's so funny with Jose Mourinho. You see the insides of how managers manage the players. Very interesting, my friends. Ailing over James for next game week. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, definitely. If you have Ailing, put James on the bench, put Ailing in the team. I don't think Liverpool are not going to score against Chelsea. 37 points, but I believe in my long-term squad. Ahmed, that is a fantastic attitude for playing FPL. Guys, FPL is a marathon, not a sprint. We spent 3 weeks picking our squads. Let's not jump the gun after one game week. I'm happy with my score. I mean, if I had like 51 points, I would still be happy with my score. Let me show you how many points I got before I log off, guys, and before I actually fall asleep on my keyboard. Alright, so I got 59 points, guys, and I'm not sure if the overall rank has been updated, but I'm sitting currently at around 1.5 million. And don't look at the ranks in the first game week. Look at your rank in game week 10, guys. Everything's going to normalize. Don't worry about your teams. You spent a long time choosing your teams. Do not be trigger happy. Do not take hits. Do not go for your wild card. We're gonna do this the right way, my friends. Just take care of yourselves. I'm sorry if I didn't manage to answer any of your questions, but I really have to go. Sai says, what's your best rank? Okay, so I got my best rank is 534. I got 534 in 2018-19. Hang on, let me show you guys. I'm not sure. There you go. So guys, this is my best rank, right? This is when I started playing FPL seriously. I started my YouTube channel. So 534 is my best rank. I got 90k last season as well. But my best rank is 534, guys. So yeah. So that's why I'm saying, guys, you don't start well in game week 1. Don't jump the gun. Take it easy. FPL is gonna be good. I'm gonna be here with you answering your questions every week. FPL Aftermath show is going to be coming every week, guys. As soon as the game week is over, I'm going to hit that live button, come live, talk to you, answer your questions, hopefully calm your nerves a little and stop you from being too trigger happy and making rash transfers. Listen to the press conferences, wait for the midweek games, then make your transfers, guys. We're gonna do this together. I'm going to sign out, and I thank you all for being here on the live stream. I would like to request you all to please hit that like button, subscribe, and please join me. If you enjoy the work we do here on the channel, please join me on my live stream next time as well. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great game week. Have a great time. I will see you soon. Take care. FPL Visit signing out. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.